Today we're going to model place value relationships. Place value is the value of a digit in a number based on the location of the digit. So as you can see down here below, we have a place value chart. Here we have our decimal point, and the numbers to the right of the decimal point we're going to kind of ignore for today. We're going to look to the numbers to the left of the decimal point. As you can see, we have our ones column, our tens column, our hundreds column. Then we have our comma, a thousands column, 10,000s, 100,000s, and then another comma, and our millions column. Here we have our base 10 blocks. Base 10 blocks are manipulatives in which we use to teach place value. As you can see right here, we have a unit or cube. This little small unit or cube is what we would represent the ones column with. Next to it, we have a rod or a long, which is 10 little cubes. So a rod or a long would represent our tens place value. Then we have our flat. A flat is 10 rods put together. And since we know that 10 times 10 is going to be 100, this represents 100 little cubes. And then we have over here, we have our block, or our big cube, or large cube, in which represents 10 flats, or 1,000 units, or small cubes. And we use these to demonstrate place value. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find the value of the underlying digits here. If you notice here, once again, we have our place value chart right over here. So we have our ones column, our tens column, and our hundreds columns. And these are within the ones period. Then we move over and we have our thousands, our 10,000s, and our 100,000s, which fall under the thousands period. And then we have our millions, 10 millions, and 100 millions, which fall under our millions period. So we're going to look here at our value here. It says right here we're looking for the value of the digit 6. So the digit 6 in this specific number of 125,678. So we're going to try and find the value of the digit 6. So I'm going to take that 6 and I'm just going to bring it down right here. And then everything to the right of the 6 I'm going to turn into zeros. So that means our 7 is going to become a 0 and our 8 is going to become a 0. That gives us the value of that 6, or that digit 6, as 600. On our next one over here, we have a larger number. We have 457,674,932. And on this one here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look at my value, my digit 6, and we're going to look for the value of the digit 6. And once again, I'm just going to bring down the 6. And then we are going to, once I bring down the 6, I'm going to look over and I'm going to turn everything else to 0. So my 7 to the right of the 6 is going to be a 0. My 4 to the right of the 6 is going to be a 0. My 9 is going to be a 0. My 3, 0. And my 2, 0. As you can see, we have our 6. Our 7 is a 0, our 4 is a 0, our 9 is a 0, our 3 is a 0, and our 2 is a 0. I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in my commas. We need to have a comma in every three digits. So from the right, I'm going to count over 3 digits and put in a comma, and I get my answer as 600,000. So the value of the 6 in 457,674,932 is 600,000. Now we're going to practice comparing values. And by comparing values, I mean we're going to look at the different values in our value table here and look at how they are similar. So I'm going to write a 4 in the ones column right over here. Well, there we go. So now we have a 4 in the ones column. And what I want to do is I just kind of want to show how easy it is to move that digit 4 into the tens column. So I'm going to do 4 times 10. I'm going to multiply that 4 times 10. And I know that 4 times 10 is 40. Now I'm going to take that 40 and I'm going to multiply it by 10 also. Because our system, our number system, is base 10, we're just going to keep multiplying by 10. So I'm going to multiply 40 by 10, and 40 times 10 is going to give me 400. Now notice, as I multiply by 10, all I'm doing really is adding a 0 and moving my place value over. So I'm going to keep going. 400 then times 10 is going to give me 4,000. So I'm going to put my 4 over here in the thousands place and add another 0. So that's going to give me 3 zeros for 4,000. Now if I want to move over to 10,000, so I'm going to do 4,000 times 10 is going to give me 40,000. I'll put in my comma there this time. I should have put my comma there last time too. If I multiply 40,000 times 10, it's going to give me 400,000. And so on. So that we can see that when I'm multiplying by 10, to move over in each column, I'm multiplying by 10. So if I want to make the 4 into 40, I have to multiply it by 10. If I want to make this 4 here into 400, I would have to multiply it by 10 and then multiply it by 10 again. So I'd be multiplying it by 100 to get 400. So now we're going to compare values of the underlying digits. So on our first one right up here, we have 2,304. And over here we have 16,135. So, when we look right here, we have 3 longs for our 30 here, because we could pull that down, and we're going to actually, I'm going to pull that down, and it's going to give me my 3 and my 0. So 30, and then over here we're looking at 300. If we were to put this in base 10 values, it would give us 3 longs, and the 300 here would give us 3 flats. Not perfect flats, but they'll do. As you can see here, that in order to get a flat, we'd have to multiply each of these longs by 10. So if we multiply this long by 10, this long by 10, this long by 10, we get 3 flats. So the value of the 3 here in 2,304 is 10 times the value of the 3 in 16,135. Over here, we're going to come down here and look at our second ones down here. We have a 7 in value of 7 in 34,567, and the value of 7 in 32,754. Once again, I'm going to write my digits down below. So here we have a 7, and I would turn anything to the right of the 0 or right of the 7 into a 0, but there's nothing to the right of the 7, so it's just 7. And then on the other one here, I have a 7, and I have 2 numbers to the right, so I'm going to turn 2 zeros there. So I have my 700. Because my 7 is in the hundredths place, I have my 700. Here I have 7 in the ones place, so I have my 7. So now I have 7 and 700. Now, how many spaces did I have to move over? Well, if we look down here at our place value chart, right down here, and let's say we draw in our 7. Our 7 is going to be in the 1 section. And then we have our 700. 700 is going to be in the hundreds section. How many times did I have to move over? Well, let's count our zeros. We got 1, 2. So if we put in our zeros there, we're going to have 1, 0, 2, 0, 700. So we're moving over 2 zeros to get to our hundreds position there. So we're moving over 2 zeros. And then our final thing here would be our 7, which would be where we are. So 1 times 7 is 7. So that is going to give us our 1. We are actually moving over 100 times. So in that case, we would be multiplying 7 by 100 to get 700. So now we're just going to kind of plug in the data here. We are going to take our information that we know and what we've learned, and we're just going to plug it in. So here we have the value of 4 in blank is blank times the value of 4 in blank. So the first thing we're going to do is we're looking at the value of the digit 4. So I'm going to underline the digit 4 in both of those numbers. So we have 4,004. Now we want to take our larger value of the digit that we're looking at, which is 4, and it's going to go on the first line. So the value of 4 in 4,000 is going to go on our first line there. And then we're going to put our second number down below. So we have our 400. Now, is a word that could be close to or is related to equal. So this is like saying the value of 4 in 4,000 equals blank times the value of 400. So then we're going to take our 400 here, and we're going to then say that we're moving over from our 400 to our from our hundreds place to our thousands place. We're only moving over 1 spot. So because we're moving over 1 spot, we know it's going to be a 0. That's a really horrible 0. Okay, let's try that again. We're moving over 1 spot, so it's going to be a 0. And so we're only moving over 10. So it's 10 times the value of 4 in 400. If we look at our second one here, we have the number 546,300 and 3,456. First thing, the value of 3, so we're looking at the value of 3. So we're going to underline the digit 3, so I know which one I'm talking about here. Now we want to take our highest value of that number. So here we have 300. And on this other one we have 3,000. So 3,000 is more than 300. So we're going to take our highest value of the 3, or the number with the highest value of the 3 in it. And so we're going to take our 3,000 is going to go on the line. 3,456 is going to go on the line there. And on our lower line is going to be 546,300. Now, 546,300 is a larger number. However, our value in it is not larger. So that's why that goes there. And then if we look over here, we're going from 300 to 3,000. So we are moving over 300 to be here. So we're moving over 1 position. So because we're moving over 1 position, we're moving over only 10 times. So the value of 3 in 3,456 is 10 times the value of 3 in 546,300. And that's how we model place value.